Hello, everyone. My name is Craig Wilmhoff, and I'd like to share with you what we've been doing down in Eastern Kentucky. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So hopefully we can get in there and you can see my PowerPoint. We've been engaging you as citizen scientists in assessing safety and health of rural streams in Appalachia. Now, I'd like to thank some of my students, Olivia Abner, Dalton Day, Bailey Stidham, and of course, Dr. Jason Unrein with UK Cares. He has been wonderful in helping us not only with analysis, but also supporting us. And thank you, Dr. Unrein. Now, why are we looking at this? Well, sanitation issues in Appalachia. There's a lack of municipal sanitation. Most people are on septic tanks. The problem is you've got several problems with getting septic tanks. One, they're expensive. They can cost up to $10,000 to put in. So there's poverty levels in Eastern Kentucky are high, so a lot of people can't afford them. Topography in Eastern Kentucky, the mountains. Some people have double wides and houses just sitting on mountainsides. Where do you put a septic tank? So there's a lot of problems there. And then education, lack of education about what straight piping does. And that's what this all leads to, is straight piping of wastewater into creeks. Issues with straight piping, I think everyone understands that. And what's being done, there's the PRIDE, the Personal Responsibility and the Desirable Environment Initiative, where they've been studying some of the creeks. There's also the Watershed Watch in Kentucky, studying some of the creeks. Problem is there's so many waterways in Eastern Kentucky and in Kentucky in general that it's hard to really get a handle on all the different creeks and all the different waterways. So what we've been doing over the last couple of years is that first we were looking at the middle fork of the Kentucky River, and you can see some of the creeks that we sampled. The ones in asterisks were ones we could not get to because they were on private land. And then this year we've been looking at the south fork of the Kentucky River. These are two forks of the Kentucky River that largely have not been examined or been tested for water quality. So this year we were able to get all of the creeks in Owsley County. We were not able to get into Clay County this year. We did Owsley County in March before the flooding, and then we weren't able to get into there. What were we testing? Abiotic measurements, bacterial measurements, nutrient analysis, a lot of different things we were testing with the water quality. I want to get into the results. You can see here the results. Mean E. coli, Sugar Camp Creek. Now, granted, this was in March, early, about mid-March. And according to the Watershed Watch in Kentucky, that Sugar Camp Creek scored a B. So there's elevated levels of E. coli already in March. There were probably higher levels in these creeks in June and July. We also measured the enterococci through IDEX testing supplies, and we were able to show that there are enterococci in some of these creeks. You would prefer that there not be enterococci species in these waterways, but there are. They still don't meet the minimum level for the EPA, though. Now, we were going to go back and, like I said, sample some of the other creeks, but we weren't able to because of the flood. The flood took out all of Buckhorn School, took out all of my equipment. We were lucky enough to get some of the equipment back from IDEX, and I want to send a shout out to Dr. Wayne Sanderson for helping us out with getting some of the equipment back as well. We were able to measure some of the creeks, 3 of the creeks after the flood that we had measured pre-flood. So we got pre-flood and post-flood data, and you can see the flooding increased conductivity across the board, and especially in one that was already high, which was Gaze Creek. You can see that the conductivity shot up even more after the flooding. The other thing that we noticed was Freeman Fork had a somewhat high level before the flood, but after the flood, you can see high levels of E. coli. Every well on the Freeman Fork was lit up, small and large wells. This scores an F according to Watershed Watch in Kentucky. Okay, so there's a lot of problems with this. And I want to thank everyone and thank UK Cares for supporting us and allowing us to do this. And special thanks again to Dr. Sanderson, and also thank you, Dr. Unrein.